There are multiple types of different drug offending, and each of them carry with them different penalties and different elements that the prosecution must satisfy to convict you. So the first one is drug possession. Now, possession is not necessarily as a legal element how you would expect it to be in daily life. So possession as a legal concept in Queensland does not mean ownership. What it means is, number one, that you had knowledge of something, of its presence or where it is, and that number two, you had control over it, so that you had the ability to access it, prevent access to it, or move it. So Queensland actually has specific provisions that make it easier for police to be able to charge people with possessing dangerous drugs, and that applies even if those drugs aren't technically yours. So under Queensland law, if you are what they call an occupier of a premises, or if you are concerned with the management and control, so an owner, you're deemed under the law to be aware of all the items within it. So that includes any dangerous drugs that potentially a housemate or a tenant may be housing in the residence. If you've been charged with possession of a dangerous drug, or you're concerned that you may be, if you've had contact with police, it's critical that you get in touch with a trusted lawyer as soon as possible. In many cases, there are potential defences to charges such as these, specifically if the drugs weren't actually yours. And these are avenues that we can go down to prevent you, in some cases, from even being convicted. Now, drug supply is different to possession in that obviously you do possess the drug to supply it to someone else, but supply just means that you're essentially giving someone else a dangerous drug. Now, there are certain circumstances where supply can be more aggravating, for example, supplying to a minor. Another element is that supplying to a friend is still a supply. It is just a supply to any other person. Now, in some circumstances, police may have what they believe to be enough evidence to charge you with drug trafficking. Now, the legal definition of this just means being in the business of trafficking, so selling drugs. Certain different pieces of evidence can be used to substantiate this claim. For example, having packaging, having large amounts of drugs that are alleged to be for a commercial purpose, having cash associated or nearby the drugs, being able to sell drugs on tick, and having a regular customer base.